I've been asked by a couple people to make a tutorial on how to do a custom pillow cover. They're super easy, pretty quick, and doing a custom cover, it allows you so much flexibility. You can use any fabric, any print, any size. The options are endless. So here's what you need. You need 2 pieces of fabric. You need a nylon zipper, wash away Wonder Tape, and pins, and a sewing machine. Serger, if you have it, is helpful, but you don't have to have one. So here we go. First of all, you want to start by cutting your fabric pieces to the size that you want your pillow to be. So if you have purchased a pillow form, which is the easiest way, if you have a 12 by 12 pillow form, then cut your fabric in 12 by 12. So I'm sure you're asking yourself, what about seam allowance? The reason that you don't want to add a seam allowance, or if you do, add very little, like 1/4 of an inch. Don't add a full seam allowance that you would normally add. If you add seam allowances, often it ends up looking a little sloppy. It's a little bit too loose on the pillow. If you don't add the seam allowance, it's very smooth and plump. So anyway, I am working with odd size because that is what was requested by my friend for this pillow. So we're going to have an odd size pillow, but that's okay. So I have 2 pieces of fabric here. I have serged the bottom edges of both pieces. If you don't have a serger, that's okay. Go ahead and zigzag on the edge so that you can try to prevent fraying near the zipper. This is where the zipper is going to be, is at the bottom. So I'm going to line these up. And then I'm going to pin it across the bottom. Start 1.5 inches in and put 2 pins right next to each other. And this is to remind me of where to change my stitch length. I'm going to go to the other end and go in 1.5 inches and put 2 pins. Okay, and then I'm going to add a couple more in between. Okay, we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and I apologize for the poor lighting conditions. Hopefully it works out that you can see what I have going on here. Okay, so we're at the sewing machine. I'm just doing a normal straight stitch. I'm going to do the back stitch. Going up to the double pins, and I'm going to do another back stitch right here. Okay, so take out these pins. And then I'm going to increase my stitch length so that I have a basting stitch. I'm going as long as my stitch length will allow me to go. And we're going to do that across to where we have the second set of double pins. Pull those double pins out, and I'm going to change my stitch length back to normal. I'm going to go a few stitches, back up again. Finish off, back stitch again. You're only doing this on the bottom, for right now we're only stitching up the bottom, and I know I should have used contrasting thread for you to see, but I'm actually working on a real project that is going to someone else, so I used coordinating thread. But I've just stitched across the bottom. So now we need to go iron this open. Okay, so I have both pieces together. We're going to go back and get the zipper ready. And I know some of you are scared of zippers. There's really no need to be scared of zippers in this project. Super easy. Okay, so you want to be using a zipper that is at least as long as your opening here. Longer is fine because you can cut it off. We're going to use the Wash Away Wonder Tape next. And it is a double-sided sticky tape that is water soluble, so you don't have to remove it. It really is so helpful with zippers. I love this trick. So we're going to add it along both edges here. And I'm just doing the area that I had the basting stitch. Okay, so, and it has a paper backing on one side of it, so it's sticky on one side and it's got a paper backing on the other side. And this is like one of the trickiest parts right here, is peeling off this backing. And then you want to make sure that this little metal piece right here is outside of where you're going to be sewing. So you can either make it clear off if you have a really long zipper, make it clear off so you'll end up cutting it off, or just make sure that you don't sew over it. Okay, now I want to line up the center of the zipper right along my seam. So just roll it down and stick it to the Wonder Tape. And just follow the seam down. Doesn't have to be exact, but you want to be fairly close. Alright, so I have that stuck down. Now we're headed back to the sewing machine again. Okay, so here's where the magic happens. The Wonder Tape is holding the zipper in place, so we don't even have to have pins. It's so fantastic. So you can kind of see where you started the basting stitch, so in 1.5 inches. I don't even need to change it to my zipper foot. I just kind of eyeball where I want it to be on my regular presser foot, and scoot my needle over just a tad. So I'm going to start, back stitch a little bit, then I'm going to go down to 1.5 inches from the other end. Then I'm going to turn. I pivoted with the needle down. I'm going to go across. So here's where you want to make sure that the little metal part on the zipper was outside of where you're sewing, and it's over here another 3/4 of an inch. So I've gone across the zipper. I'm going to back up, go over it one more time just for good measure. And then I'm lining up one spot on my presser foot with the seam, which I know is hard for you to see. You don't want to go all the way up because you've got to get your zipper down here, and that's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I'm going to stop before I get any further. I am going to pick open a couple of stitches. Where you've got that basting stitch, it should be very easy to pick open. You don't want to pick into where your regular stitching started, so that's right here. But I'm just gonna go a little ways here. I want to be able to move the zipper past where I've sewn. So I'm just leaving my needle down and really gently picking this out. Now, you should be able to put the ball down and zip that way. Okay, so I'll pick those threads later. So now we want to get this zipper moved down. So I'm just moving it past my foot here. Takes a little coercing. Okay, so now just make sure that your zipper is lined back up with the Wonder Tape again, because I had to pull it apart a little ways there. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish up this side here. Okay, so now we're gonna go across the zipper a couple of times. Again, staying clear of any of the metal pieces of the zipper. Okay, and voila, a zipper has been installed. So you can just finish picking that open. Okay, and so now this is the bottom of the zipper. So if your zipper is too long like mine, I like to just put a dot of super glue on each end here. Don't have to. I just think it's good measure. That's what I usually do. I'm just going to cut the zipper off right now though. So I'm going to leave a little bit of room there at the end and snip off. Make sure I'm not cutting through the actual pillow cover. Okay. Alright, so we are almost done. Okay, so now we just need to pin it back together, right sides together. I moved my needle over a tad to sew around the zipper. I'm just starting on that seam here. And I'm just going to zip all the way around edge here. Okay, one important part I forgot to mention, I just did it. Make sure that your zipper is unzipped before you sew it up, because it will be it will be impossible, or nearly impossible, to get it unzipped while it's sewn closed. To make sure that we have good corners, I'm going to clip the corners. Just make sure not to cut into your stitches. And that just gets rid of the bulk from the corners. I guess I'm cutting in some stitches here on the first corner, but so then because I can, I'm going to go and serge around these edges, these 3 edges, just to finish it off so that there's no fraying. And then turn it gently, poke it with some scissors or whatever you've got. But there I have a custom pillow. And this one I'm going to stuff myself and not use a pillow form because it's an odd size. But there you have it. I hope this was helpful.